Alex Eala just shook things up so much that Indian Wells Open had to completely rethink its crowd management plan, and the ticket market still hasn't fully recovered. Here's the crazy part. The BNP Paribas Open didn't even add her to the draw. No, it was Alex who basically added Indian Wells to her tour stop, and now the entire tennis world is watching.
Indian Wells, look at this. I mean, this was in Australia. Court 6 literally had a line. I know I'm exaggerating, but it went for miles at the Aussie. It was wild scenes there. Ali, can you remember a women's star who gets this type of support wherever she goes?
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift? I mean...
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for sure.
Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great today. Now listen to this. On March 4th, 2026, the organizers at the Indian Wells Open revealed something that had never been publicly announced at a WTA 1000 tournament before. And surprisingly, it was all happening because of a player ranked just 31st in the world. The so-called Eala effect had already begun to take over the practice courts. Fans weren't even waiting for match day anymore. Filipino communities from across California, the state with the largest Filipino population in the United States at nearly 2 million people, were already showing up in huge numbers. They were packing the training sessions before a single competitive point had even been played. Not the semifinals, not the finals. We're talking about practice sessions. And somewhere between those overflowing courts and secondary ticket market reports flagged by analysts like Pro Tennis Stories 360, who highlighted a massive ticket frenzy with demand surging far beyond what anyone expected for early round matches, one question started echoing everywhere. How did a single player from the Philippines turn the WTA's biggest North American swing into a near sellout event before the draw had even begun? The answer actually starts on March 26, 2025. That's when Alex Eala stepped onto the court at the 2025 Miami Open, holding a wildcard entry. At the time, she was ranked world number 140. Standing across the net from her was world number 2 Iga Swiatek, the most dominant player in women's tennis at that moment. But what happened next wasn't just a normal upset story. It looked more like a calculated breakdown of the favorite's game. Eala's left-handed serve, averaging around 90 miles per hour on first serves and about 75 on seconds, kept producing sharp angles that forced Swiatek into 32 unforced errors. Meanwhile, Eala committed only 12. And when it came to breakpoint opportunities, Eala converted 8 out of 10 chances. That's an incredible 80% conversion rate. The final scoreline read 6-2, 7-5. And when the prize money was calculated, she walked away with $332,160 from that single tournament. That amount nearly doubled the total earnings she had collected throughout her entire career before that event. Her rankings skyrocketed by 65 spots in just 1 week, jumping from 140 all the way to 75. That surge unlocked direct main draw access to Grand Slam events. Sponsorship talks suddenly picked up serious momentum. And behind the scenes, the commercial machinery of the WTA began recalculating what this rising star could mean for the sport.
I'd have to say maybe a little bit of Sonia Mirza. Back in her heyday, obviously the Indian fans took to her and they followed her all around the globe, obviously not to this extent, and I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm gonna bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao,
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game, and alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money. So I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
Now listen to this part because it really puts things into perspective. World number 4 Coco Gauff, who defeated Alex Eala 6-0, 6-2 in that Dubai quarterfinal, actually thanked her publicly for bringing a completely new demographic into the sport. Think about that for a second. A top 5 player is acknowledging that the opponent she just shut out in the first set is expanding the commercial reach of the WTA in ways even her own results hadn't achieved. Then, Jessica Pegula took it a step further, pointing directly to Eala's ability to fill up stadiums. These weren't casual compliments between friends either. These were real market observations made during post-match press conferences by some of the sport's biggest stars. And the response from the Women's Tennis Association was just as direct. The organization officially announced the first ever Philippine Women's Open 125, scheduled for January 2026. The Philippines had never hosted a WTA tournament before in its history, yet within a single calendar year of Eala's breakout moment at the 2025 Miami Open, that reality changed. That's what many people are now calling the Eala effect in real time. But hold up, because the numbers behind all of this tell an even bigger story that mainstream coverage keeps overlooking. In 2025, Eala became the most searched Filipino female personality in Google's year-end search. She ranked 4th among all sports figures searched in the Philippines, trailing only major international basketball and boxing matchups. Even her media appearances started drawing massive attention. A pre-tournament press conference tied to the 2026 Australian Open pulled in more than 170,000 views on YouTube. Meanwhile, highlight compilations titled Alex Eala Greatness climbed to around 254,000 views, and tiebreak highlights from the 2025 US Open exploded past 1.2 million views. By early 2026, Eala's Instagram following had grown to roughly 850,000 fans. That made her one of the most followed players on the WTA Tour outside the top 10. And here's the wild part. Up until February 23, 2026, her ranking had never even cracked the top 30. But on that day, she officially climbed to world number 31, the highest ranking ever achieved by a Filipino player in WTA history. But the most revealing number in this entire story isn't about ticket sales or social media views, it's about business. In September 2025, a report went viral claiming that Wilson Sporting Goods had offered Eala a massive $45 million endorsement deal, and according to those reports, she had already accepted it. Now, if that figure is even close to accurate, it tells you exactly how seriously the sports industry is starting to take the Eala phenomenon.
Lights up a room too, you know, and I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, you know, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that, and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. You know, obviously she wants to get better than where she is now, the 32 in the world, but she's got a lot of good hand-eye coordination and ability to take the ball early and redirect. But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
It's interesting, Ali mentioned Sonia Mirza. She has nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. That's 5 million more than Carlos Alcaraz, and nearly as many as Alcaraz and Sabalenka combined. So that's how big Sonia Mirza is, was, and will be. But Eala going to be seeded for the first time at a 1,000. To find out who she will play in the second round, check out the...
Yeah, but hold up for a second. That one victory by itself still doesn't fully explain what later happened to ticket markets in the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships almost a year afterwards. To really understand that moment, you have to look at something analysts are now calling the portable home court advantage. Most elite athletes rely on one city and one loyal crowd to fuel their momentum, but Alex Eala is operating on a completely different level. She effectively carries an entire fan base around the world. Think about this for a moment. Roughly 1 million overseas Filipino workers are living in Dubai alone. Then you add nearly 2 million Filipinos living across California. What that means is wherever there's a strong Filipino community, Eala instantly gains something that feels like a home crowd. And during the WTA's 2026 Middle East and North American swing, that advantage followed her to almost every stop on the calendar. Now listen to this part, because it gets even more interesting. When the 2026 Dubai tournament began, official ticket prices started at just 65 dirhams, which is about $17.70. That was supposed to be the basic entry point for fans. But everything changed on February 17th. That's when Eala took the court and defeated world number 8 and defending Dubai champion Jasmine Paolini with a 6-1, 7-6 victory. In the second set is where things really turned dramatic. Eala fought back from a 5-6 deficit in the tiebreak and completely flipped the momentum. Players, commentators, and analysts all started saying the same thing about the atmosphere in that stadium. They described it as something you rarely see at a major WTA event. Then the market reacted immediately. Resale reports began showing massive price jumps for sessions involving Eala, especially around the quarter-final rounds. That original 65 dirham ticket price quickly stopped looking like the limit. In many cases, it became just the starting point for buyers trying to get inside the stadium. And that's when things reached another level, because once those numbers started circulating, the players themselves began acknowledging what the data had already been hinting at. Something unusual was happening around Eala's matches, and the entire tennis world was starting to notice.
Fact-checking teams dug into the $45 million claim fast, and guess what? There was nothing. No deal, no statement from Wilson Sporting Goods, no confirmation from Eala's team. The story was entirely fabricated, yet it spread like wildfire. Why? Because the market's perception of her endorsement value had already outpaced what actual signed contracts reflected. Her verified sponsorships, on the other hand, are very real and steadily growing. She's been with Nike for over 5 years, with her portrait now displayed at Nike World Headquarters in Oregon alongside the brand's all-time icons. Globe Telecom signed her as an ambassador when she was just 8 years old. Add Babolat, Bank of the Philippine Islands, and some local partnerships, her portfolio is legitimate and expanding. But here's the kicker. The $45 million hoax tells you something the verified numbers can't. The gap between what Eala's current deals actually are and what a massive portion of the global audience believes her commercial ceiling to be is huge. It's so wide that a completely fabricated deal still seemed believable to millions. That's not misinformation, it's a valuation signal. Fast forward to March 3, 2026, and Alex Eala received a first-round bye at the Indian Wells Open as the 31st seed. With her 2026 prize money already sitting at $291,992, analysts are projecting she could have a career-best financial year, potentially clearing $1 million in prize earnings if she maintains a top 35 ranking through the Grand Slam season. Broadcast rights analysts are already predicting a re-evaluation of WTA rights in the Philippines and the Middle East, fueled specifically by viewership numbers tied to her matches and the sticker shot controversy in the secondary market. Fans encountering resold tickets that have completely detached from face value have now become the defining tension at every tournament she enters. And somewhere in the Indian Wells bracket, a potential third-round rematch with Coco Gauff is already being circled by the same analysts who tracked the Dubai ticket surge. So here's the question nobody in professional tennis has answered yet. If the Eala effect keeps driving secondary markets, broadcast re-evaluations, and WTA institutional responses at this pace, what happens the day Alex Eala reaches a Grand Slam final? Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more.